You're listening to the Project Ignite podcast,
where real digital entrepreneurs reveal their very best tips, tools, and strategies to help you ignite and grow your online business.
ProjectIgnite.com. Your digital business starts here.
Now, here's your host, Derek Gale.
Welcome back to the Project Ignite podcast, a podcast where we skip the hype, skip the BS, and bring you real actionable strategies from actual entrepreneurs that are building cool stuff that is going to help you grow your business. And as always, this is your host, Derek Gale. And today we're going to be discussing something that I don't think a lot of people are even aware of, particularly in North America. And it's something that I think is going to be really, really, really big over the coming years. And what I'm talking about is something called live commerce. And today's guest is the CEO of a Prague-based startup called Korkuma. And it's a company and platform that provides the tools and resources that you need to organize, run, and even analyze what they call shared shopping experiences or live commerce. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Róbert Tarabčák to the show. Welcome, Robert.
Hi, Derek. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so the last name, was I at least close?
Yeah, it was perfect. Thank you very much for doing a good job. You're one of the few, I must say.
It's a tough, yeah, that's a tough one. So, okay. Now before we dive into this, do you want to give us a little background? How did you design this platform? Why did you design this platform? What brought you to designing this and launching it?
I would say this is a good question, and it all started in 2019 when I became entrepreneur and we started building video streaming platform, competing directly with YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And during that time, we started seeing not only Asian market growing in live commerce, but at the same time, US and European VCs just picking up that new piece of technology and bringing it up to all the conversations they had, and that struck us. And after 2 years of building another project of ours, we just stopped doing that. And when COVID hit, we thought that we need to help businesses grow, especially in these not ideal times for businesses, especially those trying to migrate from offline retail world to digital e-commerce. So that's just a little background of what how we came up with an idea to start digging into this space. We already had an IP, a lot of technology pieces that we could use to start working on Korkuma, and we made the final decision this March to start building this new product of ours, and we launched it a couple of months ago.
Excellent. And so, okay, so let's start at the beginning then because in North America, in most countries, I think even outside of China, like in China, this is just happens all the time and people don't realize it. But we don't know what it is. Live commerce. Explain what live commerce is.
In just one sentence, it is the ability of end customers to watch and shop at the same time. And it all started in 2016 with AliExpress and Taobao Live. When they launched, they just brought to their e-commerce live stream experience, which enables customers to engage with content and buy on the top of it, which is a bit different approach from what we've seen before, when end customers were used to just search products that they want to buy, and now that they can interact with creators of content, explaining those products and bringing storytelling behind those products, and at the same time shop while engaging with them. And this is a huge shift from specifically of customers' behavior. And now we can see 5 years later, we can see Instagram having shoppable items and like audio, video, and content and static images that are enhanced with shopping abilities. We can see TikTok partnering with Shopify on their e-commerce or live commerce, I would say, technology. And there are many players popping up, especially in US and Europe, trying to figure out this huge new problem of customer behavior. And I must say that Asia is different from US and European markets, and that's why there's still not one true winner that takes it all.
So why is it different?
As you know, in Asia, there are like huge marketplaces. There are huge platforms that are owning distribution, IRPs, and at the same time, the content itself and creator economy space. We focus today on European market, and we want to scale to the US as well. And what we experience while interviewing businesses is that they want to truly own their data. They want to own their IRPs. They already invested heavily into building their own e-commerce experience, so they just don't want to switch to another platform built by somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
those are the differences we see.
Yeah. I mean, speaking from doing business in both countries, I don't like the fact that I'm tied to a platform there and I don't get the customer that I can then market to and continue to sell stuff. And that's where we all outside of China, you know, we have the Amazons of the world and stuff, but we want to control the customer because that's where the real value is in the long term. Now, okay, so let's just dig into this a little bit though, just because I want to get some clarity for our listeners. So live commerce, so it's video integrated into the shopping experience, but let's discuss the term live, because it's not just pre-recorded videos of touring product, is it? It's actual interaction with someone.
Yeah. So apart from just live video content that US and customer can see on e-commerce platform or website, you can also participate. You can chat with a streamer or with moderators behind the stream, and you can also react with reaction buttons, and you can get answers live from the streamer explaining the product. And as you mentioned, like before, what we experience as end customers is just like list of static images. And that list can be huge, and it doesn't just give you an idea of what you exactly should look for. And we were talking about materials. When it comes to fashion, you just want to see the fabric, you want to see how it fits on a specific person, and you just can't get your head around that when you see static pages and static images. So that's why we see much higher conversion rates, but at the same time, less returns. And there are specific problems, especially in Europe, with European laws that are just, businesses lose tons of money with returns in Europe. I don't know how that specifically is the issue in America.
Same.
But here it's huge, and like people used to buy 5 sizes of t-shirt and then return 90% of their basket. And like distribution costs are growing, and that's what we and other competitors of ours are trying to reduce as well with live commerce, of course.
This is fascinating. I think this is a game changer for industry, especially for a lot of industries like fashion in particular. And it's funny because the internet came along, and over the last 20 plus years, shopping online lost that personal touch, right? That's where people said, oh, I like going to the store because I can talk to somebody, they can answer my questions, I can see, touch, feel. Now, you're never gonna be able to touch, feel, but it takes us one step closer to that in-store shopping experience that I think is missing. Particularly with, let's take fashion. I mean, you're right. That I never even thought about the refund component. But if you have somebody there saying, "Oh, this fits a little bit large. I'm a size blah. Look at how it fits me," you're gonna get a better shopping experience. And so, okay, so this is something that's being integrated into sites. People can go now. Do you ever see it to a point where you're just going to go to a website and there's just a live streamer there where you can, you can interact with, ask your questions, and they help you shop, like a personal virtual shopping experience? Is that kind of where we're going?
Yeah, like we can split live commerce into two categories.
Okay.
First is one-to-one, which basically is what you explained. When I, as the customer, want to actively buy something, I specifically know what I want, and I just need help from customer care. At that point, what we've been used to is just a text chat.
Yeah.
And in one-to-one live commerce form, there is live video conference call that you can have with a retail trader in brick and mortar, for example, that can show you the shoes or a PC computer or a car. And you can have a better idea of a color of the car and matte finishes and stuff like that. So that's the one-to-one conversation, and that's what we don't focus on, specifically because it's very hard to scale when it comes down to sales. What we focus on is one-to-many conversation. So when the business truly wants to sell as many products as possible, the business will plan the event, prepare and execute the marketing for the event, and then stream live to masses. And you can even stream to millions of people simultaneously. And what we want to bring in upcoming months is to be one of the first, to be truly a leader in almost zero latency while streaming to millions of potential customers of yours. So because if you look at the standard worldwide, the latency in live stream is around 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And bringing it to almost a zero, then you can instantly react to customer needs.
Yes.
And you can just answer all of their questions while making purchasing decisions.
And it's funny, for the listeners here thinking, well, a little delay is not a big deal. I can tell that you, from a perspective of doing live streams, even into Facebook, where I have, in Facebook groups, and I have people asking me questions, that 20-second delay on them asking me, receiving me, it interrupts the flow of the conversation, and that latency is actually a real pain in the ass. So being able to do that with zero latency is really actually very exciting. So can you give me some examples of some use cases? Like, because it's a new concept for people. I know listeners are trying to get their head wrapped around this. Can you give me some examples of how people have used your platform so far, and what industry, how did it work? What did they do?
Yeah. So let's say that we have a client that goes live every single Friday, and it's a comparison site, just curating content and reviewing products, especially new products. So every Friday at 5 p.m. they go live to show to their customers. They pick one of the categories, and they just like show top new stuff picks, and they explain the benefits of those. And so customers create that habit of knowing that something like this is happening at a specific time, and they can expect what that e-commerce platform is going to present. And our vision is to have, and we see some examples already doing it, to enable businesses to go live even 10 times per day.
Yeah.
To have like a TV program, like QVC, right?
Yeah.
So at 10 a.m. you can have one category, not at 11 you can have another one and another one, and by that you can fulfill all of customer needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's probably, I think QVC is a really good comparison, and that's how I visualize this in my head. And for those of listeners who don't know what QVC is, it's like the other name here, home shopping network, right? It's like you go on TV and you're watching somebody demonstrate product after product after product, you call and buy. Except in this case, it's not just a one way where you're watching. This is where you can actually participate and ask questions. So that being said, I mean, we talked about fashion. What other kind of industries and products do you think this is going to be really applicable to?
So currently, apparel and fashion is taking 36% of the space of live commerce.
Yeah.
Then we have beauty, fresh food is around 8%. Then we have consumer electronics, furnishing, and home decor, and then, as I mentioned before, we can see automobile and local online to offline sales happening with automotive industry.
Right. Did you say fresh food?
Yes, and that's what we are also trying to do with one of our clients here locally. They are food delivery platform with delivery in within an hour, and they already have on their platform chef recipes, and through those recipes you can add those items directly to your basket. And what we want to do is to have daily sessions with chefs cooking, and while explaining the food, right? So you can buy that food and they then make it, and you can even do it before it will go live, and you can get ready and just like cook with the chef.
Wow, that's really, really interesting. I mean, my wife, she loves cooking and stuff like that, and I mean, I don't get it, but they love watching, cooking shows and reading cooking magazines and stuff like that. But what a brilliant model. So you're teaching something, here's how we're going to make this. And then they can just buy all of the stuff to make it right there after they've watched you made it. That's really cool. That's a really interest. And I mean, there's so many hobbies even that, you can watch somebody doing it and playing with it, and then you can go and buy it. Right. Yeah, that's fascinating.
One very interesting thing about streaming itself, so that sales event, we call it live sales, is that you can have an influencer to do the job for you, but we recommend those nano influencers that are like less than 1,000 followers, because they can create authentic content, and authentic content just converts much higher than anything else. But at the same time, you just don't have to sell your product at all while going live on your e-commerce site. You can just have somebody playing on the piano, because when you go to brick and mortar, you can just experience some music in the speakers, or you can see some live performance, and we've seen e-commerce businesses using our product, just going live in the US while launching new collections, and they've done it with rappers wearing those collections, and just like, creating entertainment performance for customers. And it's truly important for businesses considering live commerce to think about ways to attach discounts to live commerce event. It's very important for those customers to have some kind of bonus while watching and shopping.
So, okay. So one thing you said there that I want to touch on a little deeper is authentic content, that keyword authentic. When you say authentic, what do you mean?
I mean that, so let me just go back in time, and like 6 months ago, when we started interviewing businesses about live commerce and how they feel about this new area, they were like, all of them started thinking about production costs and other expenses around marketing of the event, how it's going to affect their daily marketing. Because as I'm going to just like now market the event that's going to happen in a week from now, how it's going to affect my conversion rates now. And so they've seen a lot of hurdles apart from just having much larger conversion rates that they can expect from live commerce. And now, starting from September, they all started waking up. And now we tell them that you don't have to have production studio, you don't have to have special camera, you don't have to have lightning and the scene that will tell your customers what it's going to be about. And if you'll just go to Amazon Live and see all of those influencers selling stuff in this similar fashion, they are at home usually. And you can even use your phone to go live as a, as an individual running your own business, having your own small product. You can just tell your story using your phone and be authentic. And you can even drive, it really doesn't matter how you're going to do it. But the more authentic it is, the more truthful conversation you will have about your products. You can then expect the better conversion rates, because people will just believe in what you say.
Yeah. Well, and this is an interesting one. I think in video advertising on social, video ad, stuff like that, I think a lot of new people fall into that trap of overproducing and thinking they need really high production value. But the minute you get to that level of production value that it looks like a commercial, that it looks professional, people automatically put a filter on, and they've got this is biased, this is a commercial, as opposed to somebody just talking to their phone authentically. So I think I just want to really dig into that, because I think that's an important message for people.
And if you look at advertisement on TikTok, I don't know how it's in Canada, for example, but here in Czech Republic, all of those advertisements are now trying to have lowest quality, and be as authentic as possible, just to be in line with all of the other content that you may find interesting on TikTok. And sometimes you just can't even recognize that it's an ad, and it is.
Exactly. So now, in terms of the actual technical side of this, I mean, what we just discussed, you don't need any fancy equipment in terms of cameras and stuff. Sounds like you can get away with your phone if you wanted to. But in terms of setting this up and integrating with a website, how does that work?
So I believe that majority of our listeners already have Google Analytics installed on their e-commerce platforms, and the way you do it is exactly how we do it. So there is just a piece of code, few lines of code that you add to head of your HTML, or you can use Google Tag Manager to just add our script, and you're done. And then just within our admin, you'll set up event happening in the future. If you have pre-recorded video, you can upload a video. If you're not ready to go live, I would recommend to go live. And from that point, we'll just provide you a link to your website where you as a streamer will present as well. So we don't have our own cockpit where you do a stream. You will do it on your website, and the viewers will also end up on your website. And how we differentiate ourselves is that our live stream is picture in picture, meaning that we are just additional layer on top of your experience. So we don't alter any single element on your website. We're just placed on top of it, meaning that your customers can browse the website and at the same time engage with your content.
Okay, so somebody's at my website, it looks like my website, but now there's an additional floating video
Exactly.
box over top of that. Are people able to grab and move it around?
They are, and at
Okay.
the same time, they can put it in the full screen,
Right. Right. And it
and the
stays
streamer can put it on the full screen as well. Like
Right.
streamer can trigger to all of the viewers to go full screen if the streamer want to emphasize on some details on the product, and then those customers can at the same time just minimize it to default size.
And are we able to push out like links and stuff into the like click this or tap this or to get them to go to different things? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a chat, so you can just
drop it in chat.
in the chat you can drop anything you want.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, look, I'm excited about this. You know, and you know, it's been happening in China for so long, and it's almost like people here have been oblivious to it entirely. You know, I was reading on one of the big sales days. There's one streamer on Tmall there. I think it was Tmall, and she did in one day something like $80 million in sales. One live streamer on that platform, $80 million. And now she's partnered with like Taylor Swift and stuff like that are, you know, partnering with her to bring their products over there. It's just such a powerful way to sell. And what I love here is you're now bringing this capability to the average WordPress website, the average, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have
Shopify.
the Shopify's, that's exciting. That's exciting. And me as a WordPress guy and user, and I've been building on that. That's exciting to have that ability. And to just be able to do it through Google Tag Manager is freaking awesome. So
And we're also going to add WooCommerce plugin soon.
Are you? Perfect.
So you will not have to do anything. You will just click install and it will be automatically in your WordPress experience.
Yeah. That's fair. And just out of curiosity, how do you guys charge for it?
So we don't charge for streaming itself. We charge for number of viewed hours, because we believe that whenever you are able to grab the attention of your customers using live stream, there is a chance that they will convert.
Yeah.
And we estimate from 30 to 50% conversion rate on the live stream. So that's the point where we charge for viewed hours. And today we have early bird access with $100 package that gives you 300 viewed hours per month.
That's a ton of viewed hours. So viewed hours is okay. Just actually, how is viewed hours calculated? Is that one person watching for 1 hour is 1 hour of viewed hours?
Exactly.
And
but
so
we count in seconds.
Okay. So, and if you had 10 people all watching 1 hour, that'd be 10 viewed hours.
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool. And I think that's a fair way to build, because, you know, those are eyeballs that are on it. And as the merchant, you should be able to sell to those people. So.
And we also know that usually it takes to viewer 12 minutes to buy or leave the stream. So I haven't seen ever somebody spending full hour on the stream.
Sure. Yeah. I was just using round numbers, easy math.
Yeah. Got it.
Fantastic. All right. So I appreciate you being here. Before we wrap this up, where can people go find out more and check your platform out?
The best way is to just go to korkuma.com, KORKUMA. And also you can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Very exciting. Well, Robert, thanks for being here and for sharing this newfound platform and tool that I think a lot of people are going to make a lot of money with.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
Excellent. And now for you guys, everybody who's listening, live commerce. If you haven't heard of it, if you're doing anything in the e-comm space, you should be checking this out, because this is going to be big here. it's already starting to, make its way in with the Amazon Lives, TikTok topics, starting to do deals with Shopify, stuff like that. This has been big in China for a long time. And the reason why is it works. It brings that personal element back to the online shopping experience. So again, if you want to make this stuff work for you, you got to apply that final essential ingredient. That is action. So go forth, take action. All the links, anything we mentioned here will be on the show notes at projectignite.com. And as always, if you like what you heard here, please leave me a rating or a review on your favorite podcast platform. That is the fuel that keeps me making these podcasts for you guys. And on that note, that's a wrap. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to another info-packed episode of the Project Ignite podcast with Derek Gale.
Any links mentioned, along with an entire transcript of this episode, can be found at projectignite.com/podcast.
And to make sure you never miss another episode, go to iTunes or SoundCloud now and subscribe.